very pleased to introduce to you our mayoral candidate for Cape Town, Mr. Ehrenreich.
Good evening, and thank you very much for that kind introduction. I was touched with what Ibrahim said because I, like him, has worked with him as long as he's worked with me. And he is very modest. He doesn't say that he was only the shaper for how the trade union movement had engaged, participated, and helped to direct a lot of the discussions and developments within government. And so it's been my incredible honor and pleasure to work with him. And he's one of the people that probably had the most profoundest effect on my life. I first met him in the Committee of 81, but I came from an Afrikaans school. So nobody took us seriously there. We couldn't speak English properly, we stumbled over the word. But Ibrahim and many of the other comrades at that time directed us and gave us a clear sense of what it is that we have to do. And I want to say that that's what is incredibly important. It's that goodness that resides in your heart. That private virtues, those things that you want for yourselves because you are a good person, that we've got to want for other people too. Because when we want our dreams at the cost of the dreams of others, we get into a circumstance where we can't build a society that responds to this. And we saw that under apartheid. Apartheid was a system that advanced the dreams of whites, but at the cost of the black people in the country. And that's why we all as Democrats stood up and opposed the system and changed it, which is an incredible testimony to our ability as a nation to come together and address the most onerous of challenges. But I really believe that that's important, that sense of individual goodness. Because it's out of that that we move towards desiring a society that reflects our personal virtues, that makes our personal virtues public values. And that changes those public values, the things that we want for one another, into the policies that must shape the government. And what we've seen for a long time in our country is that certainly our desires, as manifested in the Freedom Charter, meant that we spoke to the dreams and ambitions of all of our people. We spoke about that sense of relating to a higher sense of purpose. When we came to 1994, we had the opportunity to implement that. And great strides has been made, as Comrade Ibrahim pointed out. And we must acknowledge that and we must embrace that, because it's out of the ability to achieve so many wonderful things in our country that we'll draw the strength to do so much more. Because in spite of what we've achieved, the challenges are still immense. There's a huge deficit between the problems of the promises of the Freedom Charter and what we've been able to deliver thus far, in spite of the incredible advances we've made. But the sad thing is that in this city, the most beautiful of all of the cities, I would argue, in this country, we've gone backwards. Because what we've done is we've advanced the interest of the wealthy at the cost of the poor. When we built the bus route now in Tableview and Milnerton, as wonderful as that is, as a contribution to our public transport system, the needs of people sitting in a bit of a traffic jam for an hour or so in the morning can't compare to the needs of workers who travel from their areas to town on overbus metro rail trains and often lose their limbs and their lives as a result of that accidents. Now that's wrong. That denies the sense of priority that we should all be relating to. So of course we'd say that there's got to be some priorities that we do first. And everybody would agree that the need to fix the train system, where there's the most urgent need and the most profound priority, that must come before the bicycle lanes or the buses that run in Milnerton, or before the buses that run up and down from the airport. And I took that bus yesterday. There were 3 people in the buses. They could have gotten in a taxi and traveled. We could have used those buses to pick up people at points along the routes in the metro rail line and take them straight to the industrial area. That would have alleviated the overcrowding, make it safer, make it better, make it more convenient for our people who depend on it. But the point that I want to raise is we've got to, as a society, make a choice. Do we stand on the side of justice, or do we stand on the side of perpetuating the inequalities that have become more of a feature in the city of Cape Town? The inequalities as the divisions amongst our people. People are more divided now between black and white, between wealthy and poor, than they were in 1994. So if anything, that makes this election probably the most important election. Because we've got to stop the return of the city of Cape Town to the original sin of South Africa. to go back to the apartheid, to the divisions amongst people and the building of the dreams of some at the cost of others. And we know what we stand for, we know what our values embrace, we know what kind of society we want to take forward. Everywhere I've gone in the last few weeks, I've seen how people come back to the ANC. And it's in part, I think, because people have that commitment to making this country work, to making sure that we advance our ambitions along with the ambitions of others. And people have come back to the movement in spite of the movement on occasion having disappointed them so much. When other people are corrupt, in the DA, in the ID, or in other parties, it's sad, we must condemn it as much as we can. When somebody in the ANC is corrupt, it's 10 times worse than that. Because the ANC is an organization that comes out of the people for the needs of the people. Many of the other parties are about advancing your political ambitions at the cost of the people you're supposed to serve sometimes. And when we were quiet on those things, on many occasions we let our people down. We let our organization down. And so many people have their hopes vested in the ANC. The ANC is effectively the only show in town. The ANC shapes national government policy. Our founding fathers have inspired us. Mandela, Sisulu, Tambo, all of those things, men and women who were the architects of our constitution, who represented the framework for how we can take our country forward. They brought us to a life of service, a life that reminds us that we find a sense of community by serving others within the society. And that's what we must restore in the city of Cape Town. There are great divides. How do we bridge the divides? The only way that we're going to be able to bridge the divide is by building a partnership between the rich and the poor, between black and white. We've got to do this together in partnership. But it's going to be a partnership that takes the city on a fundamentally new direction. Because we've seen what 5 years of DA administration has done to the city. Besides the policies that's entrenched inequalities and made it worse, the brutality of the DA against the people of Haupe, against the people of Elsies River, against so many communities giving expression to their democratic right to protest if they are happy, has been a complete separation from what we represent as a nation. So for all those reasons, this election is important. For all those reasons, we've got to make sure that we win this election. We're not perfect by any means. There are many things that we still need to attend to. But as we come together like this, we know that when we are together and we work together and we plan together and we commit to each other, we can achieve all of those things. Because we've achieved so much in our society. So I am astounded that I have been considered to be the mayoral candidate. And I would want to serve more than lead, to entrench the partnerships that are essential for taking Cape Town forward, to count on the wisdom of our people and not think that it's going to come from some high source in some government office alone. It's going to be the partnerships that takes us forward. It's going to be reconnecting with our communities, hearing what issues are that we must do, and make sure that we respond to those as a matter of urgency. There's an incredible amount of goodwill amongst all of our people. People agree, white communities, wealthy communities, that there are some things that are just more urgent than others. So let's get together and let's do those things. We promised our children that the doors of learning and culture would be open to all of them in the future. The sad thing is at the moment that our children in Mitchell's Plain and Kailicha have to go to school in classes that's often 60 or more, with none of the modern requirements for education like computers or good sports facilities or just sufficient amount of textbooks. While the children in Claremont and Constantia have class sizes of 25, have all of the other modern turnings for education. I think it's that relative poverty that we've got to respond to, because it's an injustice when all children don't have the opportunity to be the best that they can be at the levels that we might provide them the resources on. The challenges that we have are immense, but I'm confident that we can do it together. Everywhere we've seen the councillors are absolutely committed and enthused to make sure that we get the job done. Where we've spoken to our people, it's amazing. It's like we're on the brink of 1994. People are excited. They believe that we're going to win this election. The numbers on the polls are showing us that the ANC's numbers are rising, and as the ANC's numbers rise, by implication, even if the DA maintained their same votes, then their percentage would come down. So they are way below 50%, and that's what's really concerning them. So the writing's on the wall. The DA will not be in power of the 18th. But that places an even greater... greater responsibility on us, because we're moving our people and are able to inspire them on what it is that we need to do. What we now need to start putting into place is how we're going to do it, when we're going to do it, and when do we start. Because the responsibility of governance is even greater than aspiring and working towards getting into power. And we want power only to ensure that we can speed up delivery to our people. So I have no doubt that on the 18th of May, the ANC will win the elections. When I'm the mayor on the 19th of May, I'll come back to you and say,